Hello, welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the runes we're using in our wedding and how we're going to be using them. So if you're interested in that, come along. So this is part of the Witchy wedding series, planning, whatever. So if you are also getting married and you want to add more witchcraft things into it, I've been posting a few videos on it and I've got a number of other ones that I'll be posting. And so for today's, we're talking about how we're incorporating specific runes into our wedding. We both work with Norse deities. He's a little bit more of a Norse pagan, but not officially. And as we know, I just finished up the rune series and I've been working with the runes for a few months now because obviously I finished that series a while ago. But by the time you saw it, it just finished like a week or two ago. And so I'm using the runes as part of our ceremony and stuff. So how we're incorporating it is to paint them onto little quartz crystals. So we have these. We found these on Amazon, I know, but like, they work. So we had looked at our local shops and they really didn't have anything like this, and this is gonna work really well to easily attach. Because they're meant to be for like jewelry, because it's got this lovely huge little chunk that you could put like a cord or like the usual chains of a necklace to. But for us, it's going to work really well for attaching it to our handfasting cords. So for each of these, this came in a pack of 4, so this is my extra one. But for each one, what I've done is I've painted the runes in sets of 3 onto each crystal. So each one is going to be attached to one of the cords. So like I have 3 for me being the bride, 3 for my groom to be, and then 3 for our kind of, we have a white cord to represent our marriage. So let's go over the runes. And so I'm just gonna go through them in the order in which you would see them typically listed out, and then tell you which ones they're gonna go to. So the first one is Feihu. I know, like, wow, we made it so far. But Feihu I'm going to be using on mine. So for the meanings and contribution of Feihu, because there's a few different ways you could use it, we are tapping into the energies of new beginnings, luck, and protection. Obviously, it's a new beginning to get married. I am changing my name legally, and I am officially like binding myself to a person. Legally, from that point forward, whatever we do, it's a team. I mean, you can't do a lot of stuff on your own anymore. Like, you're officially saying, like, yep, I'm committed to this other person by law now. And so it's a new beginning. It's a step. I mean, we've lived together, we've taken out loans together, but it's just different being married. Luck, obviously. You want good luck in your marriage, and you can never get enough protection. Next one is Elhaz, and this one is also going to be on mine. So this is for protection, luck, good health, and in the books, if you remember the notes, it is used to bless a bride at the wedding. So somehow, some way, I'm going to incorporate that rune. And so obviously I'm going to include it in our handfasting cord thingamajigs, but I might also use it somewhere else. I haven't entirely decided yet. I have a couple months before we get married. I'll figure it out. But again, obviously protection is huge because weddings are ridiculous and crazy and are so expensive, and it's a lot of stress. And then of course moving into a marriage, again, protection. Lots of witches do a lot of protective things, so like, why not? Same with luck. You want good luck for your marriage. Good health, obviously. that one's great to throw in with me because I'm problematic. I have a lot of issues, so for me to have good health would be ideal because I definitely don't always have the best of health. So love that for this rune. And then of course, blessing of the bride. I don't know what all that entails. I just was like, sure, we'll include that. We'll investigate that later. But for now, that is part of the 3 runes that I've included for my cord. Then moving on to the white cord, which is going to be for representing our marriage, we have Gibo, which is for partnership, equal exchange of energy, marriage, or to bless a marriage. Obviously partnership, we're partners. Like, we've been together for nearly 5 years at this point. Like, next month will be 5 years officially since we were like, yep, for realies, this is a thing. And so obviously continuing that partnership. The equal exchange of energy kind of comes to the idea of like, give 100% to your partner and like equal, you know, just like the equality. Like, For us, it's going to represent like the reminder of like we divide the work. Not one person works harder than the other per se. You know, if one of us isn't able to, because like we both have issues like physically and mentally, some days are better than others, so we kind of pick up the slack for the other. But then also, like, I see a lot on like TikTok and things of people being like, oh, but your husband is like having like the oh, what's the phrase, like the wanting to be incompetent at a thing so that you just do it, whatever that is, weaponized incompetence, that's the word. But I lucked out, so he doesn't do that. And there are certain things that it's like, hands down, he needs to be in charge of. Like, for me, I'm great at, like, decorating and, like, kind of maintaining our house and, like, doing the witchy stuff. But, like, I should not be in charge of money. Like, I blew through $2,000 within, like, 2 weeks without even realizing it. Like, he has to be in charge of money. Like, I'm not good at it. So, like, equal exchange. It's like, honey, I will figure out all of the food we need to cook. You give me a budget, and you definitely lowball that so that if I go over, we're good. Because I am not good with money. I never have been. And then, of course, blessing our marriage and representing our marriage. Obviously, that is perfect, because that's what we're doing. Then for his, so my groom-to-be, we have Wunyo. So for this rune, it's all about happiness, success, and security. Obviously, you want to be happy in your marriage. That's why you're getting married, usually, I would hope. We want a successful marriage. We don't want it to end in divorce. We don't want to be, you know, unhappy with each other. We want to continue to work towards it. And then lastly, security. We want to be secure in our relationship and in ourselves. Then we have Yara for the, again, the wedding cord representing our marriage, not necessarily one or the other. And this is to energize a relationship, positive outcome, and balance. Obviously, energizing a relationship, we want our marriage to continue to be, you know, fulfilling and happy for many decades to come. Positive outcome, obviously, when we get married, we don't want things to go south, you know? We want things to continue to be great. And so just another rune to include that energy. And of course, balance, kind of going with a similar one before. Again, we just want to have balance, and not only just balance in our relationship, but in the idea of like, you can take time for you, I can take time for me, balancing out that way as well. Then we have Elhaz. Again, this is also for the cord for the marriage itself. It represents marriage, protection, connection, and friendship. So again, marriage, kind of a given. We're picking the runes that have literally in one book or another been like, this is good for marriage. We're like, okay, cool. Protection, again, you need to be protected. Connection, we want to still feel connected to each other, even in 30, 40, 50 years from now. And friendship, he's my best friend, so I want to continue that energy. And then we have Bracano, and this is the rune for the bride. So obviously it's going on mine. So it's going to be from my cord, but it represents the bride, wedding, and the true home / like home is where the heart is. So obviously representing the bride, that's me. So that's a given. Wedding, kind of the same deal. Typically it's the bride planning the wedding anyways. And true home / home is where the heart is. Again, just good energy to be bringing in, like he is my safe place, and I would hope to be his as well. I'm pretty sure I am. And then we have Inguis, which is going on his cord. Milestone in life, transitioning from one phase to the next, and it is the male counterpart to Bracano. So obviously a milestone in life, getting married, that's a pretty big one. A lot of people plan on that day at some point, typically, in their life. At some point you've probably considered, when am I gonna get married? And so once you're actually at that point, like, it's a big step. And again, the transitioning from one phase of life to the next, for me, like, it could have easily gone for me in that aspect of, like, I'm moving and, like, literally changing my name, but also, like, it really kind of elevates him as well, because, like, now, like, he's officially going to be a husband. Like, that's just a really big step in life. And for some people it's not, but for us it's like, oh, we're like adults now. So obviously wanted to include that energy. And then of course being the counterpart to Bracano, so it represents him. And then lastly, another one that's going onto his 3 set of runes is Othel, I think is how you pronounce that. Again, I'm probably butchering all of the names, to be honest, but like, it's fine. So we have kinship, stable prosperity, strengthened family ties. So kinship, obviously we are creating a family. We are, you know, binding our lives together. And so it makes sense that, that's a good one to include. Stable prosperity is something we've both struggled with, and so as we move into now being a married couple, that's something we would like to include into our lives. We both come from like not the most prosperous of backgrounds, so it would be nice to kind of end that and go into prosperity. And even if it's not like, wow, we have millions of dollars sitting in the bank, like, it would be nice to, be able to go to the grocery store and just go to any grocery store. Like, you don't have to go to the cheapest one out there. Or, like, you don't have to go, oh, good lord, I don't need gas. Can I walk to work? No, it's too far. Great. And you're picking between food and going to work because it's so expensive. So, like, the idea of having some stable prosperity would be lovely. And then, of course, strengthening family ties. He doesn't have, like, the world's greatest relationship with his family. There's only a few of his family that we even talk to anymore, and so naturally I want to kind of strengthen what little bit of family he does have and, kind of tie him into my family because I don't have as many people that we've cut out. And so, like, we have a small family, but, like, strengthen those ties and really be like, yep, you're a part of this clan too now. So like I said, I have painted 3 runes, so the ones that were attached to the bride-to-be, me, to the groom, my partner, and then to the wedding itself, like the marriage. I have painted those 3 in like a metallic silver onto that crystal for each one, and then I'll be attaching them to our handfasting cords. So I had kind of thought about making its own video, but it kind of just feels fitting to include it here. So for our cord, as I showed in the last video in the series, I was trying to find like a rope, and I found it. This is what we were envisioning. So these are not exactly what we would have anticipated using. So we picked our 3 colors, but what this is actually the graduation ropes, cords, whatever. So I found these on Amazon because Amazon has everything. And these worked really well. They definitely did not pop up with the searches I was trying to do. It just happened to be like in one of the advertising things when it's graduation season. So it was like, oh, that works. So these are decently long. I don't know if you can really see, like they're pretty long. So we picked white. This one is going to be representing the marriage itself, because white is new beginnings and typically often associated with marriage anyways. Then we picked purple, and purple will be representing me. And so we have this one. It's very gorgeous. So this one I'll be including the runes for me, and is just representing the bride, so me. And then lastly, our other wedding color is green. So this is going to be his cord. And it is just this beautiful like foresty green, and hopefully they would have your colors. I don't know what ones they have or don't and how often they come in and out of stock, but these worked for us because it is our wedding colors, and we picked very generic colors so that it wouldn't be terribly complicated. Dark green, purple, and like kind of a darker purple, and white. Pretty easy. And then what we are currently planning on doing is tonight for the full moon, because we only have 3 full moons until we get married, which is like, holy crap, that's coming up fast. But we're deciding tonight if we are going to be braiding these together and then just having it ready to go and then you tie it, or if we're going to have them like presented, like, his side would bring this one, my side would bring this one, and our officiant would have this one, and then just tie them together. But we like the braided look better. So we just got to figure out like what knot are we going to be doing up at the altar, when we actually get married. But tonight we may or may not be braiding these together, and we're blessing them and, enchanting those runes and really like actually attaching them and stuff, because they'll be at the end of one of these. So, I mean, ideally I would love to have one on each end, but I don't have enough crystals for that. So maybe we would also include like, if you planned a little more ahead, you can include different symbols. Like I also thought about including these, but I kind of like wearing mine. But like we got a sun and moon that match, so you could do that, and then something to represent the both of you together. It's up to you, really. But yeah, you can include different things. I don't know how much stuff we want clinking at the bottom of our set of cord. But yeah, so anyways, that is it for this video. I don't know, do you want to hear about like what we're doing to bless our hand fasting cords and like that ritual that we'll be doing? If you want to hear about it, let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon.